Hi there, Doug from unSkript. Recently, we had a customer who was having an issue. They were auto-provisioning features in AWS, and they weren't auto-provisioning because they were hitting their AWS quota. The quota is where AWS says you're only allowed to have 10 of these or 100 of these in production without requesting an increase. So we helped them by building a RunBook that looked at the quota, and if they were approaching the quota, we'd request an increase, because you can request an increase for a higher quota. But while we were doing that, we noticed that there's really no good way to see all of the quota codes. You need this quota code here to request the increase or to even find out what the quota is. And so this was sort of led to this whole side project that led to the building of this table. I thought, like, why isn't this table published somewhere? You can literally go through AWS in the console and go through all of the EC2s and find each quota and then get the quota code from the URL, like it's in the URL. But there's no really easy way to get these quota codes. I thought, well, why don't we just build a table? And as I was working with this, it keeps growing. Like, the number of quotas increases every single day. So we needed to automate it. And so we built that with unSkript. I thought I would just walk through the RunBook that we built to make this work. So this is the RunBook. And the first thing we do is you need to get all of the service names. So the service name is here. It's like EC2, right? There's 200 of them, right? So the first thing we need to do is we needed to build an action in unSkript for a region, list all of the services. And so if I run this action, I get a list of all of the service codes, AWS Cloud Map, with the service name AWS Cloud Map, right? And there's like 200 of them. Cool. So now I want to turn that into a list. I just want the service code. So I just wrote a little bit of Python that just gets me that for all of the services. Just give me the names. And it's in a variable called list of services. So here we go. There's 223 of them now. All right. And now we can get the quotas for a service. Let's look at this configuration. So in this case, we're reading in the region, and the region is here, set as US West 2. And then this would get the quotas for a single service, but I can iterate through the list of services on the service code, or the service code. So the service code is going to take all of these and run this action 223 times and list out all the service quotas for each one of the services that are there. So I'm going to hit this, pause the video, because this takes a long time, and then come back to finish the recording. Okay, so it's completed running. And to be honest, this doesn't really take a long, and we can see here it has checked all 223 entries, and it's gone through each one and is giving a check mark that they have all completed. Now, the reason this is taking a long time is not only is it running this action 223 times, but yesterday when I started doing this, I started getting rate limited by AWS. So it takes over 4 minutes because I'm sleeping for 1 second in between each call, and at 223 of them, we're talking almost 4 minutes. And I found that just putting that sleep in there, because this action, this RunBook runs asynchronously, generally, except for when I'm recording this video, it doesn't really matter that it takes 4 minutes for this to run. And you can see it has run. So now I have a list with all of the quotas for every single service. And that is stored in the service quotas variable. So now, once we get past this list of 200 things, we get to the next action here, where we're going to create a CSV. So the first thing we do is that first row says this file was updated on date. So I grabbed the date, and I actually found an error. I don't have this slash here. You can actually see at the top here, I missed a slash, right? So I fixed that. So now if I run this, it's going to insert this first line. So the way Google, when you import a list to a CSV, is they want each row to be an array. So the second row is the list of the columns as an array. And then for each service in the service quotas array here, I loop through and just make a CSV, right? I grab the things that I want and separate them by commas and then append it to my CSV. Right, so now I have a CSV, and this is just printing the length just so we can see there's 46 of these now. And then finally, I can do this last action to save the CSV to Google Sheets. And this just has my Google Analytics credential is set up to access the Sheets API. This is the sheet ID. And so that's just like, you get that out of the URL of your Google Sheet. It's the long gibberish term in the middle of your Google Sheet. I have it writing at cell A1, and it's going to take the CSV that's created here and pop it into my Google Sheet. And there we go. It's done. It's been imported, and so we can actually come over here. I believe I have to refresh this page. And there it is. You can see the slash has been added. So that's sort of how the sausage is made, how this list of service quotas is updated. The next thing that I have done is then I have gone and I created what I've done is I've gone and I've created a schedule. So if we come here, you can see I have a schedule running my service quotas RunBook, and it's running every single day at 1 a.m. GMT, so like 8 p.m. Eastern. And when that happens, now we have this sheet with all of the service quotas updated daily with the quota code, making it a lot easier for myself and our customers who are interested in this to be able to grab this data. And if you're interested in seeing the sheet, here it is. It's at docs.unskrpt.com. You scroll down to the bottom here in the left nav, and you can see the service quota list. So I thought this would be fun to see a little video on how the sausage is made and how we generate this list. And we're using unSkript to generate it. Thanks for watching, and watch this playlist for a lot more videos on how we're building our runbooks and our actions.